if you work fully remotely, there's never been a better time for you to have your AI agents that could be doing your job for you, and you could have multiple jobs.
Welcome to King Moves. In chess, the king moves one step at a time, but that single move can change everything. Each week, we explore mindset shifts and simple actions that could lead to the next breakthrough in your business and life. I'm your co-host, Ethan King, from Atlanta, Georgia, USA. Entrepreneur, TEDx speaker, and best-selling author of Wealth Beyond Money.
And I'm your co-host, Justin King, no relation to Ethan, from Cape Town, South Africa. Entrepreneur, speaker, and business growth strategist. Our journey crosses continents and cultures as we think out loud, challenge assumptions, and uncover the small moves that create big momentum. Welcome to King Moves. Let's start the conversation. We are going to dive into some predictions for 2025. I've got my crystal ball. I've been giving it a good old rub to see what comes out. And man, 2025 is going to be an interesting year, that is for sure. And to come up with any predictions is actually pretty tough. I mean, there'll be some sure bets when it comes to AI, I think. AI, probably hybrid work, remote work, those are always things going to be coming up and I think going to steal a lot of the limelight and the attention. But 2025 is indeed going to be a very interesting year. One of the things, before we get into the actual predictions, one of the things that I'm super pleased to see is just heading into the new year, particularly here in South Africa, there's a sense of real, I'm going to use the word enthusiasm for the year. Like people are excited about where South Africa is, about the opportunities, what's happening, and it's palpable, it's tangible. It hasn't been felt for a long time, and for a long time in South Africa, I think a lot of business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs, they have built their businesses almost off the back of feeling like you're being chased by something, and that thing was just kind of staying afloat, and whether it was economic uncertainty, whether it was political uncertainty. But heading into 2025, it feels like we're being pulled by this force of, as I say, enthusiasm and opportunity, and the country's it's changing, and there's real opportunity out there. And it's a really wonderful way to start the year. That hasn't been something that's been common in South Africa, but it's a sentiment that is being shared a lot on LinkedIn by a lot of individuals, sentiments that's shared by a lot of the clients that I'm working with. And that's exciting.
What do you think is the reason for that?
I think there were some big political changes for us last year, for sure. Some changes in how the country is being run, a government of national unity, which hasn't been plain sailing at all. But people just seeing that change can potentially happen, I think has given people a real sense of, invigorated their sense of what potential South Africa does have and the South African economy does have. That'd be one part of it. And this might sound silly, but Springbok rugby has undoubtedly, our national rugby team has undoubtedly had a profound effect on just how people are feeling about the country. I mean, the team itself has done exceptionally well. So that is one thing. But they've also done exceptionally well in a very unified team, which has many different cultures, many different races as part of that rugby team. And I mean, we call ourselves the Rainbow Nation, and our rugby team, our national rugby teams, really lives that to the fore. And we've always spoken about how sport unites this country, and I was always a little bit skeptical about that. But what that South African rugby side has done over the last 6 years now, having won Rugby World Cups back to back, but more importantly, how they carry themselves and the respect that they've earned internationally, it's been something else. It truly has been something else. And it has definitely pulled the country together and has definitely made people feel quite excited about if they can achieve that, man, what can we achieve as a country, as a whole? If they can do that, if a subset of our country can do that, imagine if the rest of us pull together and what opportunities there are. So certainly not plain sailing from here. We're going to have many of the same challenges we have had over the years. But it's just wonderful to have that little sense of excitement burning. And I'm looking forward to people really harnessing it and leveraging it and leaning into 2025. Could be exciting.
All right. So let's give our top 3 predictions for the year each. Of course, a lot of it's going to be around AI. So my prediction, I think that the economy overall won't see tremendous growth or tremendous decline. I'm predicting that we'll see a fairly flat economy maybe with a gradual incline. But because of the slow return, more and more businesses will turn to AI. And like you were saying, it's these agents. We're in the world of AI agents now. We call it agentic AI, where you can literally build an AI employee that fully does something from start to finish. So it goes beyond just using ChatGPT as an assistant, but where the AI can you have a conversation with it, and then it goes and posts on your LinkedIn for you in your voice. It goes and creates a video and posts it on your YouTube account for you, and it does it with extreme accuracy. I've already started building out some of these agents for some of my clients, and the technology is in its early stages. But the thing about it is, everyone has access to this, and you don't need to be a programmer. It's no code programming to create these agents. So we're going to see more and more tiny micro businesses where it literally is just a human managing a bunch of agents, like you were saying, and that is going to so personal brand will be extremely important, because you as the human, you're the face of your brand, and you execute by having your agents do things for you. And that's where I think business will be headed into the very near future, and it's almost kind of, you're going to have this divide where you're going to have your mega corporations like the Amazons and Apples of the world, and then you have your micro businesses. And I wonder where small businesses will fit in there. Will we see fewer and fewer small and mid-sized businesses, and just more mega businesses and tiny businesses that are powered by AI? That will be interesting to see. But I think that's the direction that we'll head, and see tremendous growth in that direction in 2025.
That's interesting. And just to reiterate your point, because both of our predictions was always going to be attached to AI. And it was actually in mid-December, there was an article about Klarna. And I'm just trying to think, I recognize the name. I was trying to figure out what Klarna does, but their CEO, Sebastian Stimiatowski, he spoke about the fact that they had stopped hiring new employees a year ago already. And this article came out in December. They had stopped hiring a year ago. Their number of employees has reduced from 4,500 to 3,500, purely because they've got entire departments already being run by AI. And he says that AI can do a lot of the jobs that were being fulfilled by humans, and they are leveraging that. So that's really interesting. It is happening. These were all predictions. Are people going to start losing? I'm going to inverted commas on this. Are people going to start losing their jobs due to AI? And in that sense, it is happening. But I do like to believe, on the other hand, it's creating opportunities. It is absolutely, as many, if there were 1,000 jobs lost there, AI has created business opportunities, growth opportunities, consulting opportunities for businesses to consult to businesses around how to leverage AI in their businesses. So it's a bit of it almost has like a dumbbell effect, where on the one side there's a weight because people are losing out on their jobs, but on the other side there's almost an equal weight because of the opportunities that are being created. But I'm with you on that. It's entire departments are going to be run by AI, and potentially this year we might see businesses being started by AI agents. So somebody just owns the AI, feeding in data, and that AI agent, that AI source, comes up with a business idea, starts executing on some of the operational aspects, and actually runs the business itself based on the data that gets fed into it.
Yeah, wasn't there an AI Twitter account that created its own Bitcoin or something? Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about that.
I'll see if I can find some information around it. But along the lines of AI, because this will be a very AI heavy year, I predict that we'll see more and more voice powered devices. So you'll be able to talk to your refrigerator the way you talk to ChatGPT, or, and then it'll know what you want to order. And then it won't be long. I don't know if it'll happen in 2025, but it won't be long before your refrigerator can just order food for you because it knows what you're missing. Yeah. And we're going to move into a world where grocery shopping is like, who would go to the grocery store when your refrigerator orders the food, a robot puts it in the car, and an autonomous vehicle brings it and drops it off at your door, and maybe a drone. Why would anyone ever go to the grocery store anymore? So the whole thinking around that type of thing will change. And I think that we will, autonomous vehicles, we're going to see more and more of that. So they have these Waymo taxis, and right now they're really only in certain cities in the US, like in San Francisco, I think is where it started. And so one of my friends, so there are these videos, whenever a friend of yours does this robot taxi for the first time, they have to document it because it's so eerie getting into a car by yourself and then there's no one in the driver's seat but the wheels just turning. And one of my friends sent me his video of his first experience, and he was trying to have a chat conversation like you would with a cab driver. It's like, yeah, how's the weather? Whatever. What are some good places to eat around here? Whatever you would do with a cab driver or an Uber driver. Where are you from? Where are you coming from? Well, there's no one there. And he was trying to talk to this driverless car and it wasn't
Oh, that's
responding
great.
back. So I was like, oh, well, that's an easy upgrade that they can put in these cars, right? I mean, I feel like they could do that tomorrow. Just put an instance of Chat GPT in there. And now at least you can have a conversation and maybe feel a little bit more at ease. So I think we'll see more and more of that type of thing.
And Ethan, being an expert that you are in the AI space and doing the consulting that you do, it's easy for us to speak about our predictions for companies or the direction that AI is going and how it can be implemented in businesses. What is your prediction for businesses that don't implement AI and don't get onto the AI train?
Yeah, you are going to get passed by so quickly if your business does not adopt AI in some way. Even if you're a plumber or HVAC company, a lot of these companies they think that they don't need AI or that it doesn't apply to them, but it applies to everyone. In fact, I'm doing a consultation for one of my clients. They're in the business of crops and agriculture. And I'm teaching them how to implement AI into their business so that they can expand. It's all about just outpacing. If you don't do it, some kid is going to outpace you so fast and you'll just be out of business because you're not keeping up. So start now, grab a book, teach yourself or hire somebody to come in and coach your company. You can grab my book or, watch YouTube videos, but do something to get familiar with how to converse with AI and use it to your benefit.
Yeah. Right. So and I'm sticking to the theme of AI now, but another prediction that I've got, and you spoke about personal branding. So I do believe what you spoke about. I think for this year, personal branding is going to become even bigger than it ever has been. And that's around trying to keep pace with artificial intelligence by showing your own intelligence, your authentic intelligence. I do believe that. But with that said, I think what we're going to start seeing is AI generated avatars that are the public face of corporates and corporations and businesses. And they are going to be trained on what to say in certain circumstances, particularly with the cancel culture that we have experienced, although I'm very pleased to see that is on the decline. You're always nervous of what you have to say, but an AI generated avatar that has been trained in a particular way to speak in a certain tone, to answer politically correctly, you're safeguarding yourself against all sorts of, let's call it a media shitstorm. So that I think is something that we could definitely see as the AI generated avatars that are the public face of corporations. It could be almost the case of, I suppose, Colonel Sanders coming to life and he becomes the face of KFC as a really extreme example. But that is the kind of thing that could happen, or just an AI generated avatar of the CEO himself or herself. But that is definitely on the horizon.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, in fact, it's so commonplace now. Like by the end of the year, every small business, you remember how 1-800 numbers took off?
Yeah.
I don't know when that was in the 80s, 90s or something. Dial 1-800 so and so, toll free numbers. So and then now, everybody has a cell phone, and in most businesses, small businesses, you might be calling the owner's cell phone. You don't even realize it. But we're gonna have these AI voice. I mean, you could do this right now. I do this for my clients where I can set up an AI voice, conversational AI, so that when someone calls your business, they get a human sounding AI every time, 24/7, and they can just have a normal conversation. It's not one of those press 1 to do this, press 2 to do that. It's a normal conversation where that AI can genuinely help them get the information that they need to get 24/7. And I think every business will have that by the end of this year. It'll be an expected feature for businesses.
So on that note, what are your predictions, Ethan, and I mean, you're very involved in EO and Entrepreneurs Network. You're exposed to a lot of different businesses through that, a lot of different businesses through the consulting that you do, a lot of different businesses through the speaking that you do. What are your predictions for hybrid work this year? Remote versus going back to the office. I mean, that's been spoken about so much, and the massive corporates and massive organizations that are just drawing a line in the sand and saying, right, everybody back in the office. If you don't like it, you can bugger off. Where do you see that going this year?
I think that for most of these companies who are making those demands, I think that it is a veiled attempt to reduce their workforce without having to lay people off. Because if these people have been used to working hybrid for the past 5 years, 4.5, 5 years, and now you're demanding everyone come back. Well, you're disrupting their new lifestyle that they've gotten accustomed to now. And so half of them may quit or just not work out. So now you don't have to lay those people off. And I just think we are getting into a world where companies can do more with less, and that's a great way of doing it. And you're going to for the employees, those people will end up being those micropreneurs that we're talking about who just manage their own AI bots, and that we start to see that grow. So it's like we have the gig economy, like an Uber driver. If you're driving Uber or Lyft or whatever ride sharing, I mean, you are an entrepreneur. You're your own boss, right? You're self-employed. Well, I guess to an extent, I think they're changing some of the laws around that, but you kind of control your own schedule. And I think in a way, that gig economy is going to evolve into what I'm just going to go ahead and call it the micropreneur economy, where you have a human managing AI bots.
And I think this conversation has really gone deep into all sorts of predictions for AI, but I agree with what you're saying. And I think that micropreneur, what it could possibly be, because there has never been a better time for somebody who works remotely, even if you're not fully remote, even if it's hybrid. But if you work fully remotely, there's never been a better time for you to have your AI agents that could be doing your job for you, and you could have multiple jobs.
Right.
And you become the conductor of your AI agent orchestra that is delivering on all this work that you are doing. So I have no doubt that's probably already started happening. Some people would have found ways just to enhance their delivery, and others would have found ways to get AI to fully deliver their role.
Well, when you think about it, that's brilliant. And that blurs the lines between employee and entrepreneur, right? Because and I always tell people this who are employees, like you still need to act like you are a corporation, like you are whatever Jane Doe Incorporated. And so if you're working at this company, no, you're the boss of your own company, and that company is your client. So it is your job to deliver service in exchange for pay. That's what all of us do, right? Whether you're an employee or an employer or a company, you are delivering service in exchange for pay, or products in exchange for money. So if you're an employee and you think of yourself that way, and you could have multiple jobs, as long as you're not violating some contract, and you could have AI bots to help you do all of those jobs. Well, yeah, you're really one of those micropreneurs. You just I'll expand on the term. You're a multi-micropreneur.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely going there. I have no doubt that there are some smart individuals sitting at home doing just that. Let's say they're laughing all the way to the bank because they figured out how to play the game.
I have a book idea. I'm going to put the book title out there, and if somebody beats me to it because they heard this, then oh well. Micropreneur millionaire.
I like it. Or billionaire.
Yeah. Well, you have the M, so you get the alliteration. Yeah. But yeah, I do sincerely believe that we will see more and more of these micropreneur millionaires popping up, where you can have $1 million revenue business, just you and a bunch of AI agents or AI bots that are executing for you, and you're just managing them. I truly see that. I actually might write that book.
So, what do you think all of this means for decentralized, and I'm no expert here at all, Ethan, but what do you think this means for decentralized technologies like blockchain and maybe digital currencies? I mean, as soon as we speak about blockchain, most people think about digital currencies, but there's so many other use cases for blockchain. But how do we start creating this ledger to keep record of one person having multiple AI agents? Do you see 2025 as I mean, blockchain and digital currencies have been around for a long time now, and Bitcoin certainly has been skyrocketing of late again and over the last while. But Where do you
Well,
see that going this year?
I won't touch digital currency right now because I'm not that familiar with it. But as far as the blockchain, I think that AI is going to accelerate adoption
Yeah. Yeah.
because most people don't understand it. But long story short, it will help authenticate digital things, digital products, whether that be NFTs, which are digital images, or, let's say, like, I'm working with a major figure right now, and I'm helping him develop his AI self. Now he's the official celebrity, and someone could knock it off. Like there are, there AI. You hear all this AI stuff. I hear AI Jim Rohn speeches on YouTube all the time, and I'm like, wait, that's not really him because he's talking about social media and AI. I was like, Jim Rohn was dead before this stuff even existed. But you can find these motivational speeches that where people just rip off the voice and duplicate it and put out content. Well, the blockchain is what's going to allow us to know if you're listening to the authentic thing or watching the authentic official version of the thing, whatever it is. And we're going to need that more and more as we enter this inauthentic AI world. And I'll add to that prediction real quick that we will see more of a push back towards live performances and live human to human connection, because we will, as the market continues to get saturated with AI content, we're going to just get tired of being on anything on digital. You don't know if it was generated by AI or not. So, but if I go to lunch with you in person, Justin, and I know it's you there, like we're on Zoom right now. I could be talking to the AI you. Like I built an AI clone for one of my clients, and that client, that AI clone can actually attend Zoom calls on her behalf. Like that exists today. I was like, I didn't even know. I ran across the feature and I was like, let me add her to a Zoom call. And I can talk to her clone the way I'm talking to you.
It's crazy.
But the face-to-face interaction, I think we're going to see a resurgence in that.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I think face-to-face, person-to-person, belly-to-belly, whatever we want to call it, is going to become a huge thing again. And just going back to blockchain, I think with everything, with AI, so much becoming, let's call it becoming digital, I think entire nations countries are going to have to figure out, how do we govern all of this? Because and I think they are going to have to rely on blockchain to be able to do that in some way, to your point. But I suppose that in itself is a whole, I don't have the predictions for it, but I know that it's going to become a real thing. Just the governance of the world, the governance of the way that we work, the governance of employees, the governance of AI businesses started by AI. Man, like, how does that?
It's just the wild, wild west. Every new technology is the wild, wild west at first. So yeah, governance will come into play with all the legal stuff that's going on with AI. Yeah, you're right. So I think the governments that adopt the blockchain technology and leverage it first will be the ones that succeed.
So we didn't exactly give our top 3 predictions. I think we took this. I was happy with the conversation because we speak about thinking out loud, and I think we did.
We do. And we'll probably have to come back to this, maybe split this into 2 episodes and revisit our other predictions that don't have to do with AI. But I do think it is fitting because we're in the age of AI, and I know it's consuming the news, but it's influencing every area of our lives. So people need to know what's going on with it. That's a wrap for today's episode of King Moves. Remember, in chess, like in business, one right move can change everything. Take today's action step, make your move, and build momentum.
If you found value in today's episode, share it with someone who's ready for their next breakthrough, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our weekly conversations. Until next time.